Welcome to the Department of Earth and Planetary Sciences at Northwestern. Graduate students are the heart and soul of our department, and we think they can tell you about it best in their own words.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Here you go. Science.
My name is Anastasia Montgomery. I go by Stacy. I'm a third-year PhD candidate. I work with Dr. Daniel Horton in the Climate Change Research Group, and my research specifically focuses on air quality. So like where and how pollutant hotspots form in cities. Right now I've been focusing on the city of Chicago, making high-resolution air quality maps.
Hi, my name is Jamie Nilou, and I work with Seth Stein. In my research, I study earthquakes and earthquake hazards.
Hey everyone, my name is Nilou S, and I'm a fourth year. My advisors are Matt Hurtgen, Andy Jacobson, and Maggie Osborne. In my research, I work to understand Earth's past climate using radiogenic isotopes.
I'm Matt, and I'm a PhD candidate in Dr. Maggie Osborne's lab group. In my research here at Northwestern, I try to understand how microbes in dark, nutrient-poor caves make a living for themselves. In other words, where are these microbes getting their energy and carbon from, and what could that mean for global biogeochemistry?
My name is Molly Gallahue. I'm a third-year student in the department, and I work with Seth Stein. And my research involves using historical shaking data and reports from earthquakes that happened in California, and using those historical data to try to understand how well the current ground motion models in California work and how well future ones work and if they're better.
Hi, my name is Fei W. I'm a mineral physicist. I'm interested to see how the physical property of minerals change under extreme conditions. So it's like what the mineral looks like if you put it into the mantle.
I'm Gabby K. I'm a fifth-year PhD candidate working with Andy Jacobson. In my research, I measure the geochemistry of ancient organisms like foraminifera, leading up to and during ocean acidification events.
My name's Pete Paleo. I'm a second-year PhD student working with Yarrow Axford. In my research, I collect lake sediments from Greenland in order to reconstruct past climate. Here we can see our research team collecting sediment cores from a lake in South Greenland. We attach a core tube to the tripod of our anchored raft with a rope. Using a series of ropes and pulleys, we raise and lower a weight that hammers the core tube into the mud. We can pull the core back up and the mud stays in, kind of like when you put your thumb over a straw and pull it out of your drink.
In our lab, we use equipment called diamond anvil cells, which is shown here on the screen. So the experiment is basically like we put the samples between two diamond anvils and then we push the diamond anvils to generate high pressure. The pressure could be as high as like 20 to 30 GPa or even higher. So in case you wonder how high the pressure is, 1 GPa is like 11 elements sitting on 1 square inch. So just can imagine how high is that turns to 20 to 30 or even higher GPa.
In my research, I work to understand Earth's past climate using radiogenic isotopes. And to do my research, I dissolve rocks and run them through columns. I then analyzed them on the TIMS, the thermal ionization mass spec. Here's a video of me pouring liquid nitrogen into the vacuum chamber of the TIMS.
Basically, like, I'm just using chemistry and physics and math and climate models and satellites and sensors. Just a whole lot of coding to do what I do.
To do my research, I combined molecular biology and organic geochemistry approaches. I sequenced DNA directly from cave microbial communities to figure out what microbes are present. I also examined the isotopic composition of their cell membrane lipids to track carbon flow to and from these communities. By combining these approaches, we can gain a holistic understanding of how cave microbes survive and even thrive in these dark underground habitats.
Before this, I went to UW-Madison. I got my degree in civil and environmental engineering. I was just interested in environmental science. Like, I think it's a really relevant problem, and there's a lot we can do and should do. That's why I got into earth science.
Before I came to Northwestern, I went to St. Norbert College in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and I studied geology and math. And then I graduated from there in 2018 and enrolled at Northwestern the following fall.
Before Northwestern, I majored in environmental health microbiology at Montana State University, where I was able to work in a lab studying the microbes that live in the hot springs around Yellowstone National Park. That gave me a really deep appreciation for how microbes affect their environment and how the environment in turn affects them.
When I first visited the department, I was really impressed by the top-tier research facilities Northwestern has, especially for our department where we have a relatively small cohort of graduate students and faculty. So I really felt like I was going to be able to get a lot of analytical time that I needed to complete a successful and strong dissertation.
I really liked the department and I really liked the people that I got to meet. People are super friendly. My research is kind of outside of what everyone else does, and we're a pretty small department, so actually there's a lot of people that aren't studying similar topics. Like, a lot of people are independent, but I feel very supported by the fellow grad students, and also the professors are the best professors I have had. Our department professors really care about teaching and growing us as scientists, which I think is really nice.
Beyond my advisor, I also work closely with faculty members in the statistics department where we apply statistical models to better understand earthquakes and earthquake processes.
I actually collaborate with epidemiologists because I have health relevant work, which I think is super exciting because then I get to provide the chemical knowledge, but then also see the resulting social outcomes. And then also with policymakers, because I study pollution and it's something that we regulate with the Clean Air Act, I actually have written up some one-pagers for our Congress people to talk about this. We've got a grad student group on campus called SPOT, which helps connect us with our local legislators. Also puts on outreach lectures, which is super great, gives you really good practice. Also, journalists ask for interviews on topics if they're in the news. Also, a lot of Medill students will reach out. There's a lot of opportunities. I feel like I'm talking to a lot of people who aren't necessarily scientists, but are interested in the work. So there's a lot of good science communication growth opportunities here.
A highlight of presenting my work has been when I traveled to the South Pacific aboard the JOIDES Resolution for Expedition 378. And on board the ship, each scientist presented their work and methodology to the other shipboard scientists. And it was really fun to hear their feedback and questions, especially when we're moving towards future collaborations.
I was able to travel to California the summer after my first year to interview people who experienced 2 earthquakes that happened in the 1990s. I've also been able to travel to conferences in Indiana and Arizona and California, so that's been really fun.
One of my other favorite things about being at Northwestern has been all the travel that I've been so lucky to do. One of the first places that I went to was Baraboo, Wisconsin for the 201 course. I then that summer got to go to Colorado, Utah, Arizona for the field course. That was so much fun. Made friends with a lot of grads and undergrads on that trip. I then was able to go to Barcelona for a conference the following summer, and that was just such a dream. And then I've also been to St. Louis for conferences. And then one final thing that we did was that we did a camping trip with Geo Club. We went to the Mississippi Palisades, which is on the border of Illinois and Iowa. And that was just nice to get out of the city and see some greenery.
when I'm not in the lab or coding, I love to draw, go running, and explore all the things that Chicago has to offer.
One of my favorite things about living in Chicago is that there's so much to do. There's always something going on, and it's a really vibrant city, and there's a lot of things happening at any given time. So that's really fun.
One of my favorite things about living in Chicago is cycling along the lakefront path, usually with friends from the department.
When I'm not doing research, I love to bake and play disc golf. One of my favorite things about living in Evanston is the amount of really great restaurants that I get to go to.
I love living in Chicago. I've done lots of fun stuff here with my friends from the grad program over the last few years, such as volunteering at the Adler Planetarium, going to shows at Second City, going to concerts on Halloween, and hanging out and going to the St. Patty's Day Parade in downtown Chicago.
But otherwise, welcome. Sorry that you guys couldn't come. I promise everyone's really nice. I'd say that like our grad student culture is like everyone's really close. We have a small department, so that kind of makes things easier. None of us really study the same things, but like somehow we all manage to like help each other out, whether it's like coding questions or just lab stuff. I'm not in the lab. This is my lab. It's virtual. But yeah, welcome.